If you are looking for peace, presence, and purpose, those of us looking for clarity of mind, body, and spirit, this is for you. Starting in a comfortable seat on a block or a bolster or a pillow, anything really to get yourself situated, and adjusting the posture, sitting up tall, feeling proud, empowered, grateful to exist and inhabit the body that we do. And with that in mind, noticing the points of contact between your body and the floor as we just start to ground ourselves and orient ourselves in time and in space. Taking a moment to notice the points of contact between your body and the floor, just as we begin to orient ourselves in time and in space. Earth below, sky above, and everything else in between. Feeling these opposing forces, the Apana or downward moving energy as you ground your hips into the mat, and this upward rising energy, feeling open through the heart and lifted through the chest and the crown of the head. Let's turn our attention to our breath and notice how almost automatically our response is to start to breathe deeper. On the next inhale, sweep your hands up towards the sky, lifting out of the base of your spine, reaching from hips to fingertips. And on an exhale, draw the hands down through Anjali Mudra, heart center. With the hands at Anjali Mudra, take a couple of deep breaths, feeling the sensation of the heart beating against the thumbs. And on your next inhale, hands sweep up towards the sky. On the exhale, open into goddess arms, bending at the elbows. One breath, one movement. Inhale, straighten the arms, reach the fingertips to the sky. And exhale, open out, palms towards the front of the room. Inhale, straight arms lifted through the chest. And exhale, goddess arms. Open heart, deep breaths, lift up. And open out. And hold. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Drop the arms to the ground. Bring the hands to the knees. Moving into seated cat and cow. On your inhale, draw the chest forward. Open through the heart. And on an exhale, round through the spine. Tuck the chin to the chest. And inhaling, coming forward. And exhaling, rounding chin to chest. Inhale, come forward. Squeeze those shoulder blades. And exhale, round through the spine, really pulling through the hands. And moving into a more fluid cat and cow, we'll just start to circle the torso around, really concentrating the movement in the upper chest, the heart, the shoulder blades. Let this movement be organic. Switch directions. Let the movements be organic, intuitive, fluid. Let it feel good in your body. And let's meet in a neutral spine. Let's make our way into seated pose with extended legs. Feet are about hips width distance apart, and core is engaged to keep us lifted through the chest. Beginning with our foundation, to point the toes and flex them. Point. On your inhale, squeeze, and exhale, flex. Point, hold, and let's start to circle our ankles around. Slow rotation, noticing if there's any cracking or popping. And switch directions, taking your time, few rotations in the opposite way. Keeping the legs really engaged throughout this whole process. Take one more rotation and we'll shake out the feet a little bit and point the toes once more. This time demi-point, so only flex the toes. And now full flex. Again, point the toes. Demi-point, just toes. And toes back to the shins. Let's do that again. Point the toes. Toes flex. Feel your legs working, your feet working. And full flex. Toes back to the shins. Find a bend in your knees and start to drop them from side to side, rocking, waking up the hips, making our way up the body as we warm everything up. As we give all of our body the attention and care that it deserves. Bring your hands to the floor and lift the hips to the sky for reverse tabletop. Opening through the chest, through the heart. Drop the hips to the floor. And let's make our way into Child's Pose Balasana. Big toes touch. Knees are wide. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. And feel the places of contact between your body and the floor. Tuning into these spaces. Being present with the sensations that arise in your body. Being present with the thoughts that arise in your mind. And being present with the breath that nourishes and revitalizes every fiber and cell of our being. Walk the hands in and lift through the chest, coming into seated on the shins, except we'll tuck our toes underneath and sink the hips on top of the heels, using the weight of our body to help stretch through the bottom of the feet. Shift backwards and forwards a couple of times on the toes. Find that spot that feels juicy, that feels good. And bring the hands to interlace at the low back. Squeeze those elbows in towards one another and draw the hands down towards the ground as you open and shine your heart towards the front of the mat. Gentle heart opener. Release the hands, come into tabletop position, untuck the toes, pat them against the ground a couple of times. Lift the right knee off the ground and start to circle the leg around, finding big hip circles. And switch directions, noticing any sensations that arise. Drop your leg to the ground, kickstand the right foot out, and extend the left leg long for a modified side plank. So our right hand is on the ground directly underneath the shoulder, and left fingertips reach towards the front of the room. And on an inhale, lifting up, reaching those right fingertips towards the sky and towards the back of the mat, and we'll flow a couple of times. Right hand down to the ground, left fingertips reach. Getting into the side body, strengthening and lengthening. Good. And this time, back foot can lift off the mat as you extend from fingertip to toes. Option to reach around and grab that ankle, opening through the heart, through the chest. Release the ankle and step the left foot to the top of the mat. Sweep the hands up towards the sky for low lunge and lift off the front knee. And next time you exhale, sink weight forward, open the arms out into goddess. Again, flowing, inhale, lift the hands to the sky, lift the hips, and as you exhale, sink forward, arms open. Let's do this one more time. Sink forward, heart is open, shining to the front of the room. And hands down to the ground, step that left foot back to meet the right in tabletop position. And let's take a few rounds of cat and cow just to reset. Inhale for cow and exhale for cat, inviting in any organic movement that you'd like. Matching breath with movement. Take your time. We are not rushing. We are in no rush. Take one more and we'll meet in a neutral spine. And lift the left knee off the mat and start to circle the leg around. Big hip circles. Squeeze the glutes, activate the leg. Switch directions. Big hip circles. And drop your knee back down to the ground. Kickstand the leg out for modified side plank. Reach the right fingertips to the sky towards the front of the room. And on an inhale, windmill the hands up so the left fingertips are reaching up and over towards the back of your mat. And flowing a couple of times, matching breath with movement. Using core strength, inhale as you lift up. And exhale as you drop that bottom hand to the ground, landing softly. Option to lift the right foot off the mat. And to reach around for that right ankle. Breathe into the heart space, release the right ankle, step the foot forward for a low lunge, and sweep those hands up towards the sky. Lifting out of the front knee as you come forward, exhale and open the arms into goddess. Flowing a few times, lift and extend the arms, and exhale, lower goddess. And once more, next time you come forward, sinking weight into that front knee, open the arms out, engaging Muladhara Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and drop the hands down to the ground. Turn towards the long edge of the mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale to a flat back, and as you exhale, start to walk your hands out. So we're in a wide-legged downward facing dog. Dropping the chest to the floor before walking the hands in the opposite direction through the legs and really dropping the crown of your head towards the floor. Engage the quads to really lengthen through the hamstrings. And as you're ready, let's turn towards the top of the mat, step back into a high plank, drop the knees to the floor, and lower down onto your belly. And for a moment, just let the full weight of your body be supported by the mat and by the floor, releasing any and all muscle engagement. Be heavy. Pause for a moment, feeling the heart beating against the floor. And we'll prepare for Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose, by bringing the hands underneath the shoulders and on an inhale, rolling up through the spine, lifting the chest off the floor. Extend the hands forward, and on an exhale, open into goddess arms. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhale, hands reach forward, and exhale, goddess. 2 more at the pace of your own breath. Really squeezing those shoulder blades every time you come into goddess arms. Drop the hands down to the ground, tuck the toes, and exhale, push up into high plank position. Adjust your hands and lift the hips for Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Start to walk your down dog out. No matter how many times you've been in downward facing dog, notice, how is this time different from all the other times? How are you different? How am I different in this down dog than the last time I was here? Take your time. Again, we're not rushing. And drop both heels down to the ground. Small bend in the knees if you're tight through the back. And let's all lift high on our toes, bend the knees, and step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Drop your head down to the ground, grab opposite elbows, and sway from side to side, releasing through the low back. Shake that head out, yes and no, releasing tension through the neck, the upper back, the shoulders. And once you think you've released, release just a little bit more and feel that decompression through the low back. Release the hands and slowly start to roll up to standing. Take your time feeling each vertebrae of the spine. Bringing the hands into Tadasana, palms face forward, heart is open, crown of the head is lifted. Feet are rooted into the mat. Visualize those roots like tree trunks grounding you into the earth. Starting to shift weight into the right foot, lifting left toes off the mat and just hovering them an inch or two. before drawing the knee into the chest. And slowly, with control, stepping the left foot towards the back of the mat for high lunge. Hands sweep up towards the sky. And lift and straighten that front leg. And as you exhale, sink weight into the front knee and open into goddess arms. You see the pattern. Let's do it again. Lift through the front leg, arms extend, and as you sink, come into high lunge with goddess arms again. Lift, moving with the breath. Exhale, lower, goddess. Open heart, present mind. Hands down to the ground. Right foot steps back to meet the left. Shift weight onto the right hand for side plank, left fingertips to the sky. Hips are lifted. Option to lift the left foot off of the right for a little balance play. All together, let's step the left foot towards the top of the mat for high lunge. And sweep up towards the sky, and we'll do that same flow on this side. As we inhale, we straighten the front leg, extend our arms, and as we exhale, we lower into high lunge with goddess arms. One breath, one movement, lifting and lowering. Let's do it a few times. And last time, and hold. Being present with the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts. Hands down to the ground, step back into high plank. Roll onto the left hand for side plank. Lift the right toes, test your balance. And the right foot steps to the top of the mat. Turn towards the long edge for a wide-legged forward fold. This time grabbing ankles, helping draw your torso towards the ground. Maybe even the crown of the head makes contact with the floor. Take that head out, yes and no. Full release through the backside of the body. Bring the hands to the mat and walk your feet in a bit, lifting the chest off the ground for goddess pose. Inhale, straight legs, and as you exhale, open arms into goddess, legs into goddess. Inhale, straight arm, straight leg. Exhale, goddess pose, goddess arms. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink and hold. Presence in your feet, in your knees, in your hips. When you feel complete, turn towards the top of the mat, right foot steps back, high plank, lower down from knees or straight body to low plank all the way down to your belly. Resting on the opposite ear this time. Again, full surrender here of your body weight to the floor. Releasing any and all muscle activation. Tapping into that parasympathetic nervous system. Just breathe. Let's prepare for Bhujangasana. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Peeling the chest off the floor. Lifting the toes this time, reaching them towards the back of the mat. Modification, keep the feet on the floor. Arms extend towards the front of the room for Superman. And let's flow from goddess arms to straight and back again. Move with your breath. And hold, and goddess, lifted, lifted, lifted. Whole backside of your body's engaged. And lower hands down to the ground. Push into the hands and sink the hips for child's pose, Balasana. Bent arms. Feel that connection between your forehead and the mat. Breathing deeply and feeling that contraction and expansion of your body as you breathe. As you feel ready, let's lift up and come into one of our last downward facing dogs. Right toes lift to the sky, point the toes, and step the foot forward for pigeon pose. Deep hip opener. Sink your hips to the ground, open through your chest, look up towards the sky. Take a deep breath, and as you're ready, walk your hands forward. Bring your forehead to the ground. to a block, a bolster, and full surrender. Let go of that muscle activation and start to really tune into that Apana Vayu, that downward moving energy. Feel yourself starting to relax completely. Take one last really deep breath before you start to peel your chest off the ground. Rolling up through the spine, shifting weight onto your right leg, swinging the left leg around. Outer edge of the foot comes to the outside of the knee, and turn towards your left leg, pushing into that back hand to really help lengthen through the spine. Breathe into the twist, and we will make our way into pigeon on the left side. Feel free to come right into it or to come through down dog with three-legged dog. However you choose to get there, remember that sides will be different and that is okay. Sink your hips down to the ground, open through the chest first, and then as you're ready, start to walk your hands forward, surrendering the weight of your body to the ground, releasing any strain through the hips. Being present if there's any discomfort, not running away from it, just simply observing it. Observing the breath, the thoughts, and as you're ready, peel the chest off the mat. Swing your right leg around for a seated twist, turning towards the right knee this time. Take another couple of breaths as we transition into seated with extended legs. Plant the hands behind you and lift through the chest, lift the hips off the ground for reverse plank pose. Option to take a bend in the knees for reverse tabletop if that's more accessible. And lower down onto the ground. Using core strength, roll all the way down to the floor. Extend your arms out to a T. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Right leg stacks on top of left and drop the knees over to the left side of the mat for a supine twist. Shoulder blades are rooted into the mat. Twist comes from the belly button. Full focus on the breath. Notice the way the breath feels when we're in a twist. Come back through center. Let's rock our knees from side to side a couple of times, releasing through the low back. Slow movement here, really unwinding. Legs come back through center. Left stacks on top of right. And drop the knees down to the right side of the mat. Full surrender of those legs to the ground. Resting in this state of observance, in this state of presence of body and breath. Something we can practice both on and off of our mat. Coming out of the twist, keep the bend in the knees. Walk the soles of the feet to the long edge of the mat and drop the knees in towards one another for fallen bridge pose. And as you feel ready, walk the feet towards the top of the mat for Shavasana. Releasing any control over your breath, over your mind. Heavy body. An Apache blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being, and may you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. And as your Shavasana begins to feel complete, bring the hands and place them gently on top of the belly, feeling the flow of prana underneath your hands. Maybe taking a full body stretch, reaching from fingertips to toes, rolling off onto one side using your arm as a pillow, not skipping fetal position, emerging from the rebirth, rising, coming into a seated position. And we will end practice with Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Find Gyan Mudra with the left hand, thumb and pointer finger pads connect, signifying the union of individual and collective consciousness. Finding Vishnu Mudra with the right hand. Take a cleansing breath, sigh the air out, and bring the right thumb to the right nostril, close it off, and slowly start to inhale through the left nostril. Closing it off, exhale right nostril, inhale right nostril, close it off, and exhale slowly left side. That's one round. Inhale left side nostril, close it off, exhale right nostril, inhale right nostril, close it off, and exhale slowly left side. Round two, let's do another. Inhale through the left side nostril, breathe deeply, close the left side nostril off, exhale right, inhale right side nostril, and exhale left, slowly release the air, exhaling all the air out of your body before releasing the right hand back down to your knee. And let's end practice with a few minutes of silent contemplation, observing the way that breath and body can shift our state of being. Sending you all the love in the world. Namaste.